Today I'm flying from Frankfurt to Chicago on Lufthansa 747-8 in business class.
After an amazing vacation in London, I flew to Frankfurt so that I could fly home to Toronto through Chicago. Absolutely idiotic itinerary, but I got to try Lufthansa's business class on the upper deck of their 747-8, so maybe it was worth it. Let's see. Just an hour before noon, we'll depart from Germany. From there, we'll fly over the Netherlands, Britain, and Ireland before crossing the Atlantic Ocean. We'll first see land again as we enter Canadian airspace over Newfoundland and Labrador. Our flight continues across Quebec and then my home province of Ontario. Finally, we cross the country border into Michigan, where we'll begin our descent into Chicago, Illinois. Altogether, we'll cover approximately 4,300 miles in about 8.5 hours.
So I'm getting to the airport via train. This train doesn't only go between the airport and this hotel city. This train goes all the way to the city.
Okay, alright. Clearly I'm still half asleep here, so back to the voiceover we go. Before my flight, I had just 1 day and 1 night in Frankfurt. I chose to spend the day at the airport's observation terrace, watching planes and eating McDonald's. It was fantastic. The observation deck is located in Terminal 2. The airlines operating in these terminals are the ones who have no relationship with Lufthansa. Lufthansa and her many subsidiaries, as well as her Star Alliance friends, all operate out of the much larger Terminal 1. The two terminals are connected via a landside shuttle bus that operates every 10 minutes. Another option is the SkyTrain. In Terminal 2, it's just the one stop, but in Terminal 1, it stops at Concourse C, then B, and then A/Z before heading back. Terminal 3 is currently under construction and set to enter service in 2026. It will also be serviced by the SkyTrain, which should make for a long ride, hopefully a scenic one. While the many connecting passengers may not care, those beginning their journey at Frankfurt Airport will find it easy to reach. S-Bahn lines 8 and 9, which are almost identical, make frequent stops at Terminal 1. Both lines start in Wiesbaden and in Hanau. These are just 2 lines of S-Bahn. There are 7 more, and then there's also U-Bahn, the underground railway. If all this is somehow not enough, or you don't do public transit, taxi and Uber is available. For me, I spent the night sleeping in the cheapest hotel room I could find. It was close to the airport in this development called Gateway Gardens. Conveniently, it has its own S-Bahn station. I'll board a train headed westbound, and the next stop is Frankfurt Airport Terminal 1. The check-in hall is stunning. Spotless grey floors, grey walls, and a detailed but still a grey ceiling. It should feel sterile, but it doesn't. The sunlight coming through the floor-to-ceiling windows shines on all the blue and yellow signs, providing just enough contrast to liven up the place. And look at this, split flap departure board. Gorgeous. I wish I had more time to film it in action. I bet someone is currently airside, just landed from Azerbaijan, huffing and puffing about the remote gate and the crowded bus. Panicking because he's about to miss a flight because there was a little bit of water in the water bottle. But here it's so chill, so calm, so peaceful. Alright, let's go check in. A small line here for business class check-in, but I can't fault them. It's an entire wall of check-in desks, all fully staffed.
Good morning. I'm flying to Chicago. Okay.
You go around the corner, take the escalator to the first.
Concourse Z is one level above Concourse A. Both concourses use the same gates. Concourse A handles domestic and session flights, while Concourse Z caters to international, non-session flights. Once you ascend the escalator, you'll go through a quick passport check, followed by security, and then emigration out of Europe. After completing all the formalities, I'm spit out into duty-free. Duty-free is no threat to me. I don't need cologne, I don't smoke. As for alcohol, it's poison. So I'm alcohol free, unless the alcohol is free. Still, I walk with haste and a 1,000-yard stare, just to be safe. But then, I almost lose to the Lego section. With great effort, but mostly lack of funds after a week in London, I managed to resist.
They almost had me with the Legos.
That was close. I need a drink. Let's go to the lounge. In Concourse Z, there are 2 lounges right beside each other, Lufthansa Business and Senator. They are very similar, with the main difference being access. The Business Lounge can be accessed with Starline's business ticket, as well as Starline's gold status, while the Center Lounge is only for those with the gold status. Because of this, Center lounges tend to stay way quieter. On this day, there was a little line out of the door to see the agent, but both lounges had space. Upon entrance, there's a large model of a 747. I got 2 questions. Why did they choose to display the Queen instead of a European plane? And how can I take this home without anybody noticing? This Senator Lounge, like most Lufthansa lounges, is adorned with wooden furniture and a warm color palette that instantly makes you feel at home. No gaudiness, no minimalism, and no futurism, just a cozy, inviting atmosphere. Many lounge providers in their marketing use the phrase "enter to escape the hustle and bustle." So you go in and discover that the actual hustle and bustle is happening inside over a cold breakfast buffet. However, the stricter access requirements for this Center Lounge ensure true peace and quiet for its patrons. If you have a long journey, this lounge and the business lounge above feature multiple shower suites. In my opinion, being able to take a shower is essential for an international lounge, especially at a hub airport like Frankfurt. The suite itself is nice, clean, and seems well maintained with all the essentials you might need. The lounges also have a nap room. It's a few beds enclosed from 3 sides by wooden walls. It's not the most private, but I'm sure it's very appreciated by those who might need it. That's all the clips I got from the Center Lounge. Everyone's just sitting, so if I'm standing with my camera, I stick out a lot. So I headed upstairs to the business class lounge. The 2 lounges are almost identical, but unlike the Center Lounge, this lounge has the hustle and bustle. There is actually people in here. Also, the nap area sees a significant downgrade. This is not a flatbed. This is a weirdly shaped chair. The breakfast buffet is decent, maybe even good, but not great. The options are limited. Considering this lounge is in Concourse Z, all flights here are international, serviced by a wide-body plane with real business class. Across the ocean, in United hubs, these customers would have access to Polaris a la carte dining and a better buffet. I don't expect Lufthansa to match United, but the buffet could be better. The food options in both lounges are comparable to a good priority pass lounge. Anyways, I grabbed myself a cup of coffee and let myself relax before boarding began. Before entering the concourse, specifically the part of it with gates, you must do yet another passport check. It's a swift process, not a problem.
Thank you. Have a nice flight. Thank you. Have a good day.
Once you're here, it's a long corridor lined with gates. It feels dead compared to the busy Concourse B. If you're departing on a United flight, you might want to buy some snacks. There's a convenience store and a McDonald's. This is our ride to Chicago, a 9-year-old Boeing 747-8 painted in Lufthansa's retro livery. This is the same livery their first 747 wore in 1969. The boarding begins. First class passengers are first to board, and then business. I've climbed stairs to board a plane plenty of times, but I've never had to climb a set of stairs inside a plane. So this was a nice moment for me. I know there is a much more exclusive first class cabin below, but the upper deck is much more special to me. A few minutes after settling down, I had my pre-departure beverage, and it was delicious. I also got acquainted with my seat neighbor. He was a nice guy traveling from Asia to United States. It was weird to not have direct aisle access. Still though, I have plenty of space for myself. And plus, the way I see it, if I need to get up, I'm not inconvenienced, I am the inconvenience. I love taxiing in Frankfurt. Where else do you see so many A340s and 747s? Even the smaller planes at remote gates seem big as we taxi right past them. I know many hate this airport for its connection experience, and I've had my own bad experience here too. But as a passenger arriving from London yesterday and starting a new journey today, I've had no issues. It's been a pleasant stay, but now it's time to depart. As we climb out of Frankfurt, I would like to thank the sponsor of this video, me, Air Almond. To produce a video like this, it takes some amount of money, some amount of effort, and most importantly, a lot of time. But this is a process I enjoy. If you're enjoying the video so far, please hit the like button so that YouTube can recommend it to more people. And if you would like to see more, feel free to subscribe. The next video I plan to edit will be about United Polaris business class. Just 22 minutes after liftoff, the first service begins. Flight attendants brought out the hot towels and then they took them back. Next, tablecloth is laid out and is shortly followed by the first refreshments, seasoned cashews and beverages. On this flight, the alcohol choices were modest, just one type of admittedly delicious champagne, 3 white wines and 3 red wines, all from different countries. Beer and spirits were also available. I'd say they have enough, but I typed out the options, so judge for yourself. Personally, I like to start with champagne and then continue with it until the end of the flight. As we fly over Amsterdam, about 40 minutes into the flight, the trays are brought out. Once the flight attendants move on, I'll show you what's on mine. Top left is a seasonal leaf salad. Everybody gets one. I'll say that it was fresh, it was good, and I finished it fully. To be honest, I don't remember much about the bread, but it looks soft, right? So if it's soft, it was probably warm. For my appetizer, I opted for the pullard. After some research, pullard is a 120-day-old chicken fed primarily corn to fatten it. It worked. The result was a juicy, flavorful chicken dish that I thoroughly enjoyed. The other appetizer options are tuna tataki and grilled asparagus. The options for the main are a wheel steak, a seafood option, or asparagus with potatoes. Before bringing out the main course, flight attendants collected the finished dishes and trays. I hate clutter, so this is something I really appreciate. The main I went for is a roasted wheel steak with lemon mustard sauce, a polenta bar, and ratatouille vegetables. The presentation is neat and simple, but the taste was the star. The steak was cooked perfectly, it was well seasoned, juicy, and tender. To be honest, I didn't think food this good was served on planes. Just a week before this flight, I ordered a steak on United Polaris, and compared to what I got here, it was an unseasoned rock. The sides were good too, enjoyable, but nothing extraordinary. To round off the service, one last choice needed to be made, a plate full of cheese or a dessert. I like cheese, but at this point I'm full, but I can always force feed myself a sweet dessert. It was a cream tartlet with orange compote on top. It was good. I thought the bottom layers were nice, however, the top layers' texture and taste were not my favorite. Personally, I prefer simple desserts like cheesecake or chocolate cakes. Overall, the food was delicious, particularly the veal. Ingredients felt fresh and very high quality, and it didn't seem like Lufthansa was skimping on anything. It was a truly satisfying dining experience at 30,000 feet in the air. A trip report I once watched described the upper deck as feeling intimate, almost like a private jet. That is delusional. While I'm loving this flight and the upper deck is special, it's more akin to an narrow-body business class like Polaris on the 757 or American's A321 sharkless planes. Now that the cabin settled down, let's do a seat tour. Starting above, no air nozzles, no good. Right in front of us, a 12-inch HD touchscreen display. We'll take a look at the IFE system later. To the left, above the footrest, is a coat hook. Though if you have a suit jacket, you can ask a flight attendant to hang it in the closet. Going back to the right is your front seat literature pocket. It has a safety manual, a barf bag, and an in-flight magazine for duty-free shopping. Below we have a storage cubby, useful for a small water bottle, and the tiny amenity kit they provided. You could store your footwear here if you came on board wearing flip-flops. Under the footrest, there's a bit of space, maybe for a pair of real shoes or a small backpack. Turning around, you'll find universal power outlets between the two seats. In case of an emergency, your life jacket is here. Now onto the armrest. For your beverages, there's a cutout with a slightly grippier material. Here are your seat controls, very simple and functional. Opening this hatch, this is where you'll find your remote. You will need it. In this dark hole, there's some I/O ports, a headphone jack, USB-A slot, and a blocked out Ethernet port. That's also where the noise cancelling headphones are. They look unsubstantial, but I used them and I thought they were fine. On the other hand, the tray table is very substantial. It's large and sturdy. And now, the best part of the seat. On the upper deck, you have this cubby. It's like an overhead bin right by your seat. And once you close it, it's a flat surface that can be used as a second table. This is easily my favorite part about the plane. It's no secret that in this cabin, there are no secrets. The best way to describe how much privacy you have is to just say it. Zero privacy. This might be a bigger issue on a red-eye, but on this daytime flight, I think it's alright. Maybe even better for some. It feels very open and not claustrophobic. As for privacy, the way I see it, just like I don't care to snoop on anyone else, no one cares to snoop on me. And even if they do, all they see is a dude watching movies or pretending to work on a laptop. But if you do need a moment of privacy, the lavatory is completely private. This is the basic Boeing Jamco lavatory design you'll see on all recent wide-body Boeing planes. Some airlines customize their lavatories to more align with their branding. For example, Air Canada's lavs have maple leaf graphics. United color matches theirs to the company colors, and Emirates, for some reason, they have wooden toilet covers. Lufthansa doesn't do that. They rely on you to remember where you are. The lav is spacious and is fairly clean. In the corner they have a few amenities: hand lotion, earplugs, mouthwash, eye masks, and alcoholic wipes. I strongly feel that eye masks stored near a toilet would benefit from packaging. For boss and baller babies traveling in business class, changing table is available. You must be firm with it because the amenity shelf interferes with its use. Boeing just can't get anything done right these days, can they? Shameful. And here's the toilet. It exists. Probably should have showed you the amenity kit before the lavatory, but whatever, let's look at it now. Porsche Design. This company is separate, but is wholly owned by the Porsche, the luxury car company. Why they want to be associated with this unimpressive amenity kit? I don't know. It looks like a glasses case, which is how I use it now. Inside, we have a microfiber cloth, perfect for my lens, a pair of socks, toothbrush and toothpaste, cooling hand cream, lip balm, a peppermint, and ear covers for the headphones. I would actually use these if I knew they were there, but instead, my ears were unprotected. Is this touchscreen? Yes, it's just not very responsive. Even if it was, it's too far from the seat to use it, so just use the remote. This is an older system. There are plans to replace it. The content library is good. They have a good number of movies and TV shows. The interface is okay, but not great. You can categorize things by genre and language, which is handy. But now notice how much dead space there is on the right. And the thumbnails are tiny. It's fine in economy where you're closer to the screen, but in business, it's hard to see. But once you pick a movie or a TV show, it's fine. The map view is basic, but in other people's videos, the map seems to have more features. So it could be me, maybe I missed something. The IFE also offers views from the external cameras. One is on the belly pointing down, and another one on the nose pointing forward. So that makes this IFE a 10 out of 10. Wi-Fi was also available on this flight. For the full flight it would cost $35. I didn't pay for it, but I have limited access through Boeing Go. It was not fast, but it worked as advertised. It's 3 p.m. from where I left and 9 a.m. where I'm going. Sleeping is not an option, but I can pretend. Despite Lufthansa's stubbornness to reduce density, as their competitors started offering fully lie-flat seats, Lufthansa had to as well. In 2012, the 747-8 was the first plane to be delivered to Lufthansa with its Colon Airspace Diamond seat. Even then, they were not cutting edge. Same year, Qatar Airways and Collins Airspace debuted the Super Diamond. Ironically, when Hainan Airways was unable to accept delivery of 5 Dreamliners due to financial reasons, Lufthansa scooped them up. Those 5 planes are outfitted with the very same Super Diamond seats. Okay, moving on. Lufthansa provides minimal bedding, just a pillow and a blanket. The pillow is fantastic, huge and comfortable, and the blanket is soft. However, there is no mattress topper. Other than the complete lack of privacy, it's a good seat for sleeping. The surface is well padded, so even without a mattress pad, it's comfortable. Personally, I prefer to sleep on my side, but the seat is wide enough for me to sleep on my back, and food space is not a concern. If this was a red-eye flight, just like my seatmate who slept through half the flight, I would be out of it. For a second, let me go back to the lack of mattress. It seems that flights over 10.5 hours should get a mattress. If it's less than that and it's a red-eye, then maybe. If it's daylight, then no. Lufthansa, what is this low-cost airline behavior? If you tell me this is a first world problem, of course it is, but the thing is, if I ask on a United flight for a mattress pad, they will give me one. Air Canada is even better. They provide one on every signature class route without even asking. This isn't a deal breaker. It's not a reason to avoid the airline. It's just a very stupid way to cut costs. About an hour before landing, the flight attendants began the second service, delivering everything at once on a tray. For lunch, there were two options. I was going to choose ravioli with tomato sauce, but they ran out of the other option. I got what I wanted, but it wasn't a choice. If it looks like one ravioli is missing, it is. A flight attendant dropped one, but they gave me a full second portion after, so it's all good. By the way, the 3 flight attendants on the upper deck were fantastic. They were professional, energetic, and always smiling when interacting with passengers. Going back to the food, I enjoyed the dish. The cheese ravioli was good. It was a quality product. For pasta, it's important to have just the right amount of sauce. This dish was right in the middle of too little and none at all. They also had a German touch, a pretzel with butter. Very cute. Lastly, to end this flight, a dessert. Cream yogurt with fresh fruits and pomegranate. If this is a dessert, then I've been gobbling down a dessert for breakfast every day. That would explain some things. How many airline reviews have you watched where the host acknowledges their privilege, but then immediately drops the most privileged takes, dramatizing tiny issues into almost deal breakers and telling you to fly from New York to London on a Middle Eastern carrier? I'll try not to do that. This flight I really enjoyed, more than I expected to. When I say that the presentation of a meal is simple or the lavatory is not decorated, these aren't complaints. It's to paint a picture of an airline that doesn't do things unless it provides a tangible benefit. Perhaps this is the German way. No nonsense. The way I see it, when it comes to Lufthansa business, they don't try to sell you an experience. They're selling a comfortable method of transportation from point A to point B. Some might prefer this, some might not. The food and drinks were good. The flight attendants were very good. The IFE is not the best to use, but it does its job. That's why the lack of mattress upsets me. Lufthansa almost has it all, but they cut costs on something other airlines provide. Maybe it's a balance thing. United has the best bedding in the sky, but their food is almost inedible. To me, the hard product, the seat, is the most important, and this Lufthansa seat that is featured in majority of their fleet, while can be preferred in some cases, is outdated. I know it, you know it, Lufthansa knows it. That's why they're finally introducing Allegris. For a daytime flight, I'm happy to fly Lufthansa. I know it will be a good flight. I might even prefer it if it's on the soon-to-be retired A340. But on a red-eye, I would prefer a product with more privacy. Would I add a stop to my journey to avoid this? Actually, yes, I probably would. I love flying and I love being in the airport. But I would not tell my mom to fly from Boston to Munich through New York or Toronto. On the bright side, Lufthansa has finally started their switch to Allegris, so at some point, the seat will no longer be a reason to avoid the airline. That's going to be it for me. The video is long. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. I hope you found it entertaining. If you did, hit the like button, and if you would like to see more, subscribe. Thank you.